Fairies, we are gathering together. Fairies, we are here.
Hello, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm Stew Simpson, and this is my friend, Marc Block. You might know Mark if you're tuning in, because on musiconthemar.com on October the 28th, Mark will be launching his album, Faerie, Dances, and it's extremely good. I really enjoyed it very, very much. I'm not just saying that because Mark's a friend. Mark has played at Music on the Mar many, many times, and we love him at the festival, and he's just one of the nicest people I've ever known. But more of that, maybe not later, but if you keep watching on October the 28th, you'll get to find out how lovely he really is, and also how extremely talented he is. Mark, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm all right, thank you. All the better for seeing you, Stu.
Good. So, tell us about the album. Tell us all about Faerie Dances.
About Faerie Dances. Well, so the fairy, what I'm talking about is radical fairies, and I know that a lot of people won't necessarily know what that is. Although Martin Simpson, your namesake, no relation, when I said radical fairies, he said, "Oh yes, I know exactly what you mean by radical fairy," having never heard of them. But that's a different story. So I'm talking about a queer collective of nature-loving, spiritual kind of souls, and I suggest people should look it up on the internet if they're interested, because it's really quite hard to describe and define. And several people have attempted definitions, and then they end up with a definition that's 2 or 3 paragraphs long, and people will all have their own definitions of it. But essentially, it's a movement or a collective of people that I've been involved in for nearly 10 years now.
And are the fairies a worldwide phenomenon, or is it just UK?
It is worldwide, yes. It started out in the States, of course, as many things do. It's been around in Britain for, well, at least 10 years, if not more. And there are sanctuaries in France and in Portugal, and things are springing up all over the world.
And are the fairies predominantly part of the LGBTQ, etc. community?
Well, yes. I mean, it started out as mainly gay men, but it's becoming more and more diverse these days. It's open to anyone who wants to identify as a fairy, basically, and all genders, all sexualities are welcome.
Excellent. So tell me more about the songs and how he came up with choosing them and writing, etc.
Yeah, well, the album has ended up as a kind of fairy themed album. They're not, I wouldn't say they're all fairy songs, but I had ended up writing several songs on a fairy theme and writing songs for fairies. One of the things that we do at our gatherings is to have auctions to raise funds for people who might not be able to afford to be there otherwise. And a lot of people offer services like massages, tarot readings, those kinds of things. And what I've frequently put into auctions is a bespoke song.
Excellent.
So give me a theme or a subject or whatever, some kind of brief to write a song to. And so I've auctioned a number of songs, and so quite a few of the songs on the album are songs from fairy auctions. There are also songs written by other fairies, whether entirely written or they've written the lyrics as a poem, and I've set them to music. So yeah, they're kind of broadly on that theme.
And you play predominantly in the folk world. Yeah. And I believe I've reading through the notes on the album and having listened to it, you've got a number of rather amazing folk celebrities appearing on there. How did that come about?
Quite a few of them regulars at Music on the Mar as well. It's always nice to report. Well, largely through my association with Roy Bailey. So, I mean, a lot of them I met and shared stages with, like Martin Simpson, Nancy Kerr, James Fagan, and I met them largely through knowing Roy, and I just happened to, I thought maybe I'll ask them to be on the album, and they all said yes, and it was wonderful.
Excellent.
So so I've got Martin Simpson, James Fagan and Nancy Kerr, Sandra Kerr, Nancy's mum.
Oh, she's lovely. I love Sandra.
She's lovely, and worked with Roy way back in the 60s as well. Who else is on there? Gina LaFoe, a fantastic fiddler, and some friends of mine from Derby, Doug Ewanson and Sarah Matthews are on it as well.
I've not seen Gina for years. We met her on the same day.
Well, oh, of course,
I believe. Yes, we did. But the same day I met Roy, and the same day I met you.
Indeed.
So what's
on that? Yeah.
What is your favourite song on the album? Mine probably is Faerie Fire.
the
I
title song?
absolutely is. It's the intro song on the album. It's just,
Yeah.
it's wonderful. So it's yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to pick a favorite, you know. Um,
I mean, you've got children. Of course, you've got to pick a favorite. You know how to do that. I'm
thank you.
joking. You can't pick a favorite, can you?
Well, in terms of what I enjoy listening to most, maybe hearing it back now that it's been made into an album, um, maybe Red and Green, which is not even my song, it's a Rob Johnson song. Because that's, I mean, we've ended up with a really big kind of rock and roll production on that, and it's got James Fagan playing an amazing electric guitar solo on
Yeah.
it, and I've been listening to it in the car and crank it up really loud.
It's an earworm, that one, Red and Green.
And the song that
Often.
follows that on the album,
I See Beauty Everywhere.
I See Beauty Everywhere. I really like that too, and the production that Tom Wright's put into that as well. So Tom, who's produced Nancy Kerr's Sweet Visitor Band, the 2 albums that they made, he's the guy who's produced the album and has done an amazing job of it.
Excellent. And I believe this was partially crowdfunded. Is that right?
Partly, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time I tried to do an official crowdfunder, it didn't really work out very well. And so I decided just to not try and do the kind of let's set a target and we need to make that amount of money. I thought I just put it on my website and allowed people to, I mean, essentially they were pre-ordering and with a few other rewards that they could
Little fairy perks. Little fairy
that
perks.
sort of thing. Yes,
Wonderful. So I'm trying to keep this sweet, short and sweet and lovely. Is anything else you'd like to round off at the end of the interview to sort of say about the album? Where can people come and find you? What's your social network, etc.?
Of course, yes. Where can they buy the album? Well, I could say if only I could say I'll be undertaking an extensive tour of the British Isles.
Yeah.
And you can come to a concert near you and buy the CD from me and I'll sign it for you.
Do you need a driver?
Yes, if only. Anyway, well, my website is the place to buy it, really. If you'd like a CD, that's the best thing. I will personally sign it to you and discreetly package it for you in plastic-free bubble. It's not bubble wrap. It's just anyway. I'm digressing and waffling a bit. If you want to download it, that is also a possibility. Of course, it will be from October the 28th, the day of launch. It will be available on all the big downloading and streaming platforms. If you'd like to download it, then I would like you to get it from Bandcamp, please.
And all your other previous CDs, are they available on your website as well as
They
on
are.
Spotify?
They're all on my website if you want CDs, and they're all for download at Bandcamp as well. And I believe on the download side, Bandcamp has a special offer where you can download all of my output.
Oh, and then on Fridays you get more money for it, isn't it? I believe.
The first Friday of the month.
Yeah,
of each month.
It's a great thing from Bandcamp. They're a good site.
They are good. Yeah, I think they're good at supporting artists and not just raking in the money like some other Spotify that we won't mention.
Yes, they do. I'm afraid, yes. Okay, well, I think that's brief and a little insightful. So, if there's anything, and do you want to say hello to anybody as you're here?
Everyone who knows me.
Everyone, hello, Mum. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mark. And well, I will be there. We'll be watching on www.musiconthemore.com October the 28th at 8 p.m. Mark will be live.
I'm looking
the only live concert that Music on the More is having this year. So, namaste, Mark, my friend. We love you very much. Namaste. And we shall see you on October the 28th. Take care. Bye.
That I want is not to be. I dreamed the old dream just last night, red and green.